Well, welcome back for another week, folks. Today is Monday, June the 7th, and it is windy and cool compared to what we saw last week. This wind is definitely going to make it difficult for getting any herbicide applications done this week. Luckily, this field was sprayed last week. This was sprayed with Axial Extreme and 2525, and you can see the lamb's quarter here is already going down, and this was from just before the weekend, so things are looking pretty good. We're definitely seeing an effect on these weeds, and we'll only see more effect in the next few days. Well, here's a very angry looking hawk. I don't know what he is up to. He's holding one wing, really strange. He may have had an accident and hurt a wing, but I don't know what he would have hit around here. I mean, there's no power lines, nothing in this spot. I don't see any signs of blood or anything. But I'm probably not going to be catching you with my bare hands, am I? Huh? You don't look too terribly happy with me. Definitely not. Alright, I'm not going to eat you. Alright, well, I guess I better call Fish and Wildlife on this one. Well, there's some barley. Got sprayed with Axial Extreme and PP2525 the other day. Actually, this was about 4 days ago. You can see this alfalfa is curling up and going down already, so that is nice to see. We'll see more of that in the next week or so. You can see the kochia is pretty much doing the same kind of thing. Growing points are going to be yellowing out on these guys, so should see good control here. Well, it's now Tuesday, and the Birds and Wildlife Center wants me to see if I can catch this hawk, so I've come out here. He's about 100 yards away from where he was yesterday. Still alive. He's still really favoring that right wing, so we're going to see if I can get him in a box. I've got gloves today, and we'll see how well a cardboard box can handle a hawk. Hey buddy, you all right? I know you look angry, but be distracted by the box. Well, I've made it to the Birds of Prey Center, so I'm going to drop off this poor little Swainson Hawk. He's been a little quiet last little while. I don't know how much he's enjoyed the drive, but you never know. He might not make it through rehab, but it's better to try than to just get fed on by coyotes. Well, we've had a few more sprinkles of rain, but overall just barely enough to shut the sprayers down for a while again. I am seeing some damage out here. This is a durum field. You can see we got the odd leaf here and there. We got a little bit of tan spot on that. Looks like it's moving in, and that's mostly from weather and mechanical damage from the wind. With the drought conditions we're seeing here now, like I can hardly even get the shovel in the ground here now. The root zone of a lot of these cereals is pretty much completely dry. There's very little moisture left in the root zone, and they're really starting to suffer. Some of the barley in particular really shows it quickly, and some of it is starting to lose their tillers already. So hopefully we do get some rain tomorrow. It is an 80% chance in the forecast, and hopefully we get at least an inch. Oh, here's a irrigated field that is showing some drought stress. I'm trying to get my probe, trying to get my probe in the ground here, and I'm not having much luck. Can't even hardly push it in more than an inch or two. I weigh 260 pounds, so if I can't get this probe into the ground, she's dry. You need to irrigate. Well, here's a canola field that got sprayed with Centurion about, I guess it would be 10 days ago now. So still a little bit early to check for, you know, herbicide progress on this, but basically on this volunteer barley, you should be able to grab the newest leaf and pull it right out, and the end should be pinched off and look like it's dead. On these ones, it looks perfectly fine basically, so I'm not seeing much effect in here at this time, but we're going to come in here and hit this with Liberty soon here anyways. Well, this irrigated barley down here is looking really good, and we are getting right into growth regulator timing now. So you can see we got, you know, not quite a centimeter space between those nodes there now. The head is still very, very small right there, but looking like good timing in the next few days or week here for a product like Modus or Manipulator. Oh, here in this canola by Lethbridge, you can see it's been about a week since we had Liberty applied in here. So you can see that telltale bronzing and burning on the leaves. And weed control overall is looking pretty good, but it looks like we will have some survivors here. You can see some of this kochia has escaped relatively unscathed, whether it was either really small or it was covered by something else, whereas ones right beside it are completely torched. So we probably will have to do a second application in here to take care of these guys. See, here's the kind of group 1 damage I like to see here on this particular plant. You can see this new leaf here is kind of a bronzy color, and I bet you when I pull it out, it's going to come out easily. Yeah, oh, not quite, but there you can see that growth point. It's really pinched off. It's off color. It's brown. It's limp. It's dead. Well, it's kind of a dreary, dark Thursday morning. I'm up at Carmen Gate. We did get about somewhere around a ½ inch of rain out here. The gravel roads are a little bit muddy, so that's really nice to see. This barley that was so stressed in the wind last week is actually looking not too bad now. There is, you know, the odd scorched and burnt leaf tip, and some of the lower leaves are stressed and dropping just due to that drought stress last week and that heat. But now that we've had some moisture, they should recover and do pretty well. Well, here's some soft white spring wheat on a feedlot here by Picture Butte. Doing pretty good, starting to take off pretty well, and it's a very clean field. We're going to be doing this is silage, so instead of spraying a herbicide in here, we are going to come in, we're going to hit this with a couple liters of ATP relief fertilizer, and we're also going to add in some Nature's Aid, so a bit of a biostimulant with humic acid and some seaweed extract in here. So we're going to try to maximize our growth here and get maximum tonnage. Well, this fall rye by Colehurst has certainly picked up some height in the last week. It is now up past my waist. You can see some weather damage on a lot of these newer leaves from last week's heat wave, but overall looking pretty good. Heads are emerged now, not flowering yet, but probably will be in the next week or so here. And yeah, overall looking fantastic. Well, this doesn't look like a canola field, but it is a canola field, and it has a severe wild oat problem. Luckily, this is TrueFlex Roundup Ready canola, so we can come in here with a pretty heavy rate of glyphosate to take care of these wild oats. Because I sent a sample of these wild oats off for analysis last year, and it came back at over 80% group 1 resistant. So if this was Liberty Link canola, we would probably have a very, very hard time getting all of these wild oats under control. Well, all day now the forecast has been calling for rain, and they just keep pushing it off, and only a couple drops are falling. So I just washed the truck, so hopefully that helps, and it'll rain anytime now. Anytime. We need more than like 1/3 of an inch. I'm not sure how well this shows up on camera, but you can see in this barley here there's kind of a yellowish tinge to it, and that's because it got sprayed with Tundra about a week and a half ago. And if you've never sprayed Tundra on barley before, some varieties don't like it too terribly much, and lots of guys will tell you that once you spray it, you should probably go on vacation for 2 weeks and not look at your field. However, in this case, I went and looked at the field, and you can see a lot of these leaf tips are kind of a little bit torched and yellowed, and it's not just from the weather, it is from the chemical, and it's fairly normal, and given moisture, it will grow out of it here shortly. Well, I was planning on doing some mapping flights today with the drone to check canola stand densities, but the wind at 200 feet is just too high, so I'm going to fly around and take some pictures from 30 to 40 meters altitude instead, and I'll show you some of the results. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.